So US banks are in trouble. So much so that they are already planning on taking your money and using that to dig them out of a deep, deep hole. Now you're probably thinking, well, this isn't right. They can't do that. They are not legally entitled to my money. Well, actually, they are. They are legally entitled to use your money to help them out in any situation. Again, you are a depositor. You give them your money and they can do what they want with it as they wish. This is a huge concern, and this is why I'm bringing this to your attention now, because banks are in real trouble, serious trouble. And it's not just because of stuff that's happening around the world. It's what's happening right here in the United States and policies that lawmakers have been changing over the past several years that have put them into this position. So I'm going to break down what's going on and what is potentially going to happen at your bank and how you could actually lose your money. So I'll break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So one of the things that I really want to address first off is whenever I talk about banks here in the United States, a lot of people get upset because they've seen this happen before. Now, one thing that has happened multiple times is the US government comes out and bails out these different banks. It could be big banks, it could be small banks, but they bail them out. They give them money so that they don't go away. Well, here's the problem. This isn't going to happen again. Now, here's something somebody asked me the other day. Last week we learned that the BRICS nations, this is Brazil, Russia, you got China in here as well. Anyway, some big countries. They're trying to dethrone the US dollar. Because of that, and again, I don't think it's going to happen immediately, but it is going to happen. But because of these BRICS nations trying to dethrone the US dollar, we are seeing more stress put on our financial institutions. Now, look at this. It says Putin plans to dethrone the dollar. He hopes this week's BRICS summit will spark a sanctions-busting big bang. What's happening is other countries are being sanctioned by the United States. For instance, Russia has been sanctioned by the United States, many different sanctions, because of their role and what they're doing in Ukraine. Now, Vladimir Putin wants to get out of that. Well, how do you do that? You create a new currency. That's what they're doing. Well, here's part of the problem. If you create a new currency, that means people are not, and countries are not going to buy U.S. treasuries. Why would they want U.S. treasuries if the U.S. dollar is now being devalued? Maybe they go and get something else, or gold and silver and platinum and things like that. Well, here's another problem. Again, these two things are coming together. We are potentially going to see many banks go under. This is from, it says $512 billion, almost $513 billion in unrealized losses hit U.S. banks as number of problem banks rises to 66. This is according to the FDIC. So we got about $513 billion in unrealized losses, right? Well, look at this. I want to show you this chart. Now, I'm not too concerned about the number, okay? You can see the numbers right here. Now, yes, these are the ones that are available for sale. These are the ones that are held to maturity in billions, okay? A lot. Now, here's the problem that we have. This is where we're at currently. Remember the great financial crisis? That was here. So if you look at this, where we were, what, $70 billion, something like that. Now we're $700 billion. Do you see why you were, 8 to 10 times at higher risk now than we were during the great financial crisis? Now, granted, things are a little bit different, but that is the way things are. Now, here's why I'm bringing this to your attention now. One of the things that's going to be hardest hit is, again, the banks, but it's going to be because of commercial mortgages. We have about $1.5 trillion in commercial real estate that needs to be refinanced that likely will not be refinanced. Okay? People don't want to refinance it. Businesses can't afford to refinance it. Not with interest rates where they're currently at. So, what happens as we start to see the American people go to the banks, ask for their money back, right? Go request their money. They don't want it in the bank. They want to hold on to it personally. Well, you're going to start to see a bank run. Now, I don't anticipate a bank run or a massive bank run anytime soon, but according to experts, they say a bank run could happen right after the election. It just depends on who wins. Now, here's the next thing. If a bank run happens and all those people go to get their money out of the bank, right? They just want to hold on to it. Here's the problem. The banks are going to find out that they have a liquidity issue, that they need to sell off some of their treasuries, sell off some of their, what they call their assets, right? And the problem is they're going to sell those off for less than what they are owed or what they purchased them for. Okay? So technically, it's a liability, which is one of the reasons why they have unrealized losses. Okay? Now, when they realize this, when they get those realized losses, that is when they're going to have to go and figure out a way to put more money back into their bank. Well, do they go to the U.S. government and ask them for a bailout? No. According to experts, they say a bailout is highly unlikely, but what is extremely likely is we are about to see a bank bail-in. This is where the bank uses your money as a depositor. They will take your money, and let's say they take 200 from you, they take 200 from your cousin, they take 300 from me, and now they got, what's that, $700 that they can go and do something with, right? That is how they bail themselves out, is by using your money. It's called a bail-in. Now you're probably thinking, well, this isn't legal. They can't do that. I don't give them authorization to take my money. Here's the thing. When you put your money in a bank, you are giving them the right to do whatever they want with it. Just make sure your money's safe, right? Do the best that they can to make sure your money's safe. Well, here's the issue. Over the past several years, policies have been changed, laws have been written, where now banks can use your money, and if they can't pay it back, well, they don't pay it back. But here's the good news, that at least on your account, it shows that you have money. If you had $700 in that account, you still have $700 in that account. Here's the issue. When it comes to access, okay, you may not have access to that $700, or maybe you only have access to $400. The other $300 is kind of locked up because they needed it. Yeah. So this is that IOU. This is the money you have access to. Yeah. Banks are on the verge of potentially stealing your money simply because they have no other choice. That is what they're going to have to do if they want to stay in business. So I will leave you with that, but just understand at this time, there are several banks that are already discussing a bail-in using your deposits to keep them afloat. And guess what? There are many FDIC members of the financial committees that they've already done this. They've already gone through the discussion and had the meetings. I think they released, it was leaked or something like a year or two ago, and they all talked about that the American people should not know this. Okay? You don't need to know how the hot dog is made. Okay? You don't need to know how the insurance company pays out your claims. All you need to know is that it's there and your money is safe. The problem now is your money might not be so safe. So, we'll see what happens moving forward, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.